Hello friends. Hairstyling is absolutely essential. Imagine if there were no such thing as a hairdresser if it didn't. Carved by hand, handed down any means necessary, with a ton of scaffolding with cuts. It's a career that earns people move around looking gorgeous and transformed. But additionally, man requires the service. Here is a picture of a hairdresser for you. Chris, a lamb, was the hero of today, who has grown so fond of freedom, which he fled in protest for 5 years, depriving himself. He was away from his master. Haircuts for the season. We don't know from whom exactly he ran away, but based on the length of his hair, it was established that the youngster had been on the run for no longer than 5 years without taking care of his hair. The workers of the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals found Chris close to the Australian border between Canberra and New South Wales. He probably couldn't even be hurt by a bullet because his hair had grown back sufficiently. It's also doubtful that the frost didn't harm him. A few weeks later, the sheep was captured and taken to a shelter, where he earned the moniker Chris. To the relief of the shelter staff, their hunt for a professional barber for small cattle was successful. As with such a burden of wool, it was difficult to provide basic care for the unfortunate. The staff at the shelter were concerned about his hair being in a condition of ruin. Ian Enkles, a local Australian champion sheep shearer and champion of the local sheep shearing competition, visited the refuge. It started with the occurrence, as described by the witnesses. Ian got to work with the assistance of 5 additional shearers, and even as he began shearing, it was obvious that he would have to go through the machine again because there was so much hair. When the job was finally finished, which incidentally took more than 40 minutes, all collected wool was weighed. The weight not only astounded the participants and broke the world record for the largest number of wool sheared from one ram at one time. They noticed after removing the first layer that the volume of the visible carcass of the Chris had halved. It was 42.5 kg in weight. After the shearing, Chris was transported to the veterinarian in shock, where tests revealed that he posed no health risk. His well-being is not in jeopardy. He is currently staying at the same shelter and is eagerly awaiting family members who will also remember to shear him handsomely. The New Zealand Farmers Association is recommending that sheep shearing be recognized as an Olympic sport. International competitions for sheep shearing are frequently held in New Zealand. Kerry Giotto Way of New Zealand currently holds the record for fastest shearing, which takes 8 hours. In 8 hours, she had shorn more than 500 sheep. Alright, friends. Like it, subscribe, and tell your friends about Chris' story. Goodbye.